Is this healthy?
No, but the show is good.
I would just eat until I'm dead, probably. I would say when the ice cream man pulls up, it's the best part of my day. The treats make it worth it for me to push myself to walk outside. And that's my exercise for the day.
Few things are as clear of a sign of the decline of humanity as the sad decay of the bodily human form. The average modern person is completely unrecognizable compared to who we were less than 100 years ago. And in this video, we're going to figure out exactly how that happened. Currently, a little over 40% of the population is obese. That number was 10% in the 1960s and is projected to be 50% by 2030. Now, this sudden and significant increase is directly correlated with something that we'll be discussing later, but 50% by 2030. That is every other person, and it's important to note that not only are there more obese people, but the obese people are significantly more obese. The average fat person of today would have been a circus attraction 100 years ago. That's not a joke. People used to come from miles around to see the world's fattest man. And today, if you want to see an even greater spectacle, all you need to do is go to your local Walmart. How privileged we truly are. But even today, we still do turn these people into attractions of sorts. Now they get their own television shows where we weigh them on industrial scales because a regular one won't cut it anymore. What's very fascinating to me is that this woman lives her life every day in her body, but it's only when she sees the numbers on the scale that her condition actually becomes real to her. Isn't that interesting? But how did this happen? How have we fallen so far from grace? How has the modern person's body become so wrought with inflammation and disease? And how is it that even for people of a more healthier weight, our bodies are still stiff, weak, and completely dysfunctional? What happened? Well, to answer that question, we have to go to the beginning. Have you ever noticed how strong, flexible, and high energy babies and little kids are? It's almost like we all come out as little athletes, and then once we start living our lives, something happens to us. Well, for all of human history, except for the last 60, 70, 80 years, our bodies have been in motion all day. Our lives were constantly busy. We were constantly working physically with our bodies. But as of recent, the only thing we're constantly doing is not moving. We program our kids into this lifestyle right away. As soon as a kid hits the ripe age of 5, they're introduced into the modern school system where they will sit for 7 hours a day, 3/4 of the year for 12 years. What this will do is properly prepare them for the lifestyle that they will most likely be leading during their adult lives, which is sitting for 8.5 hours a day, 5 days a week, until they finally retire and relax and sit. We tend to forget that sitting is actually a very new thing. We only invented it in the last 30 or 40 years. Go ahead and don't quote me on that. But now we almost never stop sitting except to get up and go sit somewhere else. Basically, every modern convenience from the escalator to the TV remote makes it so that we need to move as little as possible. So in most cases, even if you are a healthy weight, your joints are stiff and your back and your neck hurts because you're not moving enough. Your body is still dysfunctional. And the best part about this is that the often most dedicated followers of the sedentary lifestyle, which of course are the bug men and the lab coats, they don't like that their bodies are feeble and achy, but remember, these people are trained to identify trees, not to see the forest. So what they go ahead and do is claim that the human body itself is actually an engineering and design nightmare. None of the parts and features work well together. They're all prone to failure. So the conclusion they garner is that there is no way that this dysfunctional mess, which is the modern body, could have possibly been intelligently designed.
The human body, it's got a lot of problems. So many of our parts wear down or are easy to break, and others look like IKEA furniture would look if you accidentally threw away the instructions before putting it together. Who came up with all these bad ideas? The answer, of course, is no one. Thanks to science, we know that the human body isn't engineered or designed, it's evolved. Everything is the way it is because it got that way.
Which, first off, Speak for yourself, big guy. But I love the line of logic here, which at its base fundamental level is truly just, my back hurts, therefore God is fake. The pure audacity we have to use what we are given so incorrectly and then claim that there must be something fatally wrong with the design itself. This is like claiming a very intelligently designed cordless power drill doesn't work and is actually, in fact, very poorly designed. And you say this while you use it to pound in nails like it's a hammer. Modern people can appreciate that humans are seemingly the most intelligent animals by looking around and seeing all the cool stuff we have done, but modern people also forget that humans were at one point quite literally the most physically capable animals on the planet as well. This is a fact. Yeah, okay, there's plenty of animals that are bigger, stronger, and faster than us, but there is no creature that is more adaptable than us, and there is no creature that has better endurance than we do. With our lack of body hair and plentiful sweat glands, we can regulate our body temperature better than any animal we've ever wanted to eat, which gave us the ability to chase down giant beasts until they collapsed from exhaustion. That's what we used to do back when we saw strength as a virtue, but now the bug man finds strength as inconvenient. So now weakness is the new virtue.
Being a man means being strong. Being strong in that sense means being stoic, means being emotionless, and that's not real. And that's what we want to show with the Everyman Project, that men can be vulnerable, that men can have feelings, that men can cry. So it's okay to be weak.
All right, bud, do me a favor. I want you to travel on foot, not even run, just traverse the distance of 1 mile in less than 15 minutes. All of the hard work of your ancestors wasted on this. Speaking of hard work, did you know that in the UK, you can get disability checks from the government for literally being too fat to work?
Britain is getting fatter. And as our waistline grows, so does the burden on the benefit system. A growing number of overweight and obese people have been signed off on the sick. 45-year-old Steve is signed off sick, and 43-year-old Michelle hasn't had a job in 2 decades. They live in a 1-bed flat paid for by housing benefit. In total, they get around $2,000 a month in handouts.
This British man's ancestors created the most expansive and longest lasting empire in all of history. The empire on which the sun never sets. Now, he gets checks from the government for being too fat and has a government paid nurse come over every day to clean underneath his fat rolls. Your ancestors, sir, are wallowing in shame that all their hard work and perseverance led to this. Our sedentary lifestyles have not only killed our bodies, they have killed our drive. You could give the average modern person the physical strength to achieve the feats that ancient humans accomplish on a daily basis, but they would still severely lack the mental strength. These people couldn't hunt giant beasts that our ancient ancestors needed to survive. They can barely garner the mental strength to get up off the couch and walk to the kitchen. And what's waiting for them in the kitchen? The chemical-laced, cancer and infertility-causing poison we call processed foods. If you ever had a free week, you could spend it looking through the list of food additives allowed in the United States that are essentially banned in every other country. Cancer-causing additives or chemicals that will literally strip your body of essential nutrients. And know this, whatever those boys are eating across the pond that's making them too fat to work, yeah, whatever we're eating is 10 times worse. All you gotta do is look at the ingredients list. In the UK, what do they get? Freeze-dried strawberry pieces. But what do we get in America? We get flavored and colored fruit pieces treated with sodium sulfate, made with artificial strawberry flavor, citric acid, and red 40, or, as we like to call it in America, strawberries. As an American, it's important to know that the government agencies that receive billions of dollars every year to regulate the food and drug industries to keep you safe, yeah, they don't care about you. If anything, they want you to be fat and sick. These are the people that told us the majority of our caloric intake should be refined carbohydrates. The best part about these government agencies is you can never really tell exactly where the malice ends and the pure incompetence begins. This, of course, highlights the need for actual competent health authorities who actually care if people are healthy. The FDA is less than useless. They essentially let corporations add whatever nonsense they want to their food while they sit back, collect taxpayer taxpayer dollars and lobbying checks while we eat cancer syrup, engine lubricant, and citric acid. Oh, citric acid. Where might they get that from? Lemons? Oranges? Yeah, try black mold. Oh, and lest we forget about monosodium glutamate, otherwise known as MSG, the obesity and metabolic disorder causing reproductive organ damaging chemical that the Food and Drug Administration has classified as a food ingredient that is generally recognized as safe. Oh, thank God. The FDA says it's okay. They say we're gonna be okay. We're gonna be okay. But remember, kids, if there's a giant conspiracy theory afoot, it's actually that societal oppression is victimizing marginalized bodies because every institution hates fat people. Or something. Despite the fact that fat and unhealthy people make the food industry and big pharma all of their money. See, it's important to always remember that with giant societal factors like obesity, there are always more things at play than we may realize. And I truly believe that the rise of feminism that pushed women into the workforce and, of course, collapsed the traditional nuclear family structure, creating either the single-parent household or the dual income household, seriously contributed to the rise in obesity. For one, the rise in obesity perfectly correlates with the second wave of feminism. Think about it like this. If you have a stay-at-home mom in the house who has time to cook 3 square meals a day every single day, you're going to be eating 3 well-rounded meals with your family every day. And if you don't have that because both parents are working or one parent is completely absent, next thing you know, you're not getting so many family meals in. And if you do get everyone together, let's be real, it's probably takeout. Long story short, everyone is eating less consistently, and when they do, it's not a meal made with love, it's a meal made with engine lubricant. It is a total shame that Marxists managed to psyop women into thinking that being in the workforce was somehow empowering, and that being a stay-at-home mom is somehow unfulfilling slave labor. They blinded these women from the fact that the stay-at-home mom was literally the backbone of society. Who made the breadwinner of the family breakfast before a big important day at work? Who got the kiddos to the bus stop on time with a tasty and delicious packed lunch? Now the working man eats fast food for breakfast and the kiddos eat public school gruel for lunch, and everyone's fat. Feminism managed to break up the family and replace the dad at the state and the mom with the FDA. If you want to lead a healthy lifestyle for you and your family, your health and their health are entirely your responsibility. You cannot rely on some government agency to protect you. You know, I saw this comedian the other night whose entire bit is that he's overweight and bad at dieting, but he made an interesting claim, which is that the human body is not designed to lose weight, which is partially true. The human body will store excess calories as fat because it is hardwired and programmed to go long periods of time without eating. But the only thing the modern person abstains from for a significant period of time is movement. The average person today never goes more than a couple hours without a meal. So now we find ourselves having trouble with something that our body was never meant to be good at, which is intentionally losing weight. We are biologically programmed to survive famines, not Coca-Cola and pizza. To put in perspective for you just how fat the modern fat person is, this man here went on a 382-day fast. He consumed nothing but tea, coffee, sparkling water, and vitamins for 382 days. That's how much energy these people have stored on their bodies, yet they're still hungry all the time. Why is that? Because of their gut microbiome. The microorganisms in your gut will literally mess with your head. There is a positive and a negative feedback loop here. If you eat good food, you get good bacteria. If you eat bad food, you get more bad bacteria. And the bad bacteria will tell you that you are ravenously hungry even after consuming 10,000 calories. It's not just a cliche that you are what you eat. Your body will literally build itself from the food you eat. So if you're eating junk food, you're going to get a junk body. I will leave you with this. Your health is entirely your responsibility. If you have kids or you have other people in your care, their health is your responsibility. You cannot abdicate that role to a government agency. They don't care about you. Physical activity and bodily movement is a necessity, and you always have to remember that your brain and your body are not separate entities. You cannot be mentally healthy if you are not physically healthy. And of course, always remember, the only one who can save you is you. If the FDA says it's okay, then the FDA knows it's okay. Yeah, we love the FDA. The FDA is really great. The FDA is really gay.